when I was 8 or 9, I remember my parents showed me Blazing Saddles. I fell in love with Mel Brooks right away. I fell in love with cinema right away. I didn't get 99% of the jokes, but I got the story behind it in terms of this is film, this is what it can be, this is what comedy can be, this is what satire can be.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre, 1974, Toby Hoover. Like the intro is already so unnerving, where it has the audio of the hitchhiker taking the photos, and it's just like already got this like really creepy vibe going.
I saw The Matrix, I remember, and I remember thinking like, how do they do that? And I got really into special effects and wanting to know how special effects work.
Whoa. At Hollywood Studios, there's this ride called the Great Movie Ride. And there's a moment where it goes through Alien. I was like so mind blown, asked my mom what it was. She's like, oh, it's Alien. She bought like one of the DVDs and I watched Alien for the first time and like I was like in love.
My grandmother especially set me down when I was like 11 and was like, I think you really need to see this movie, and she showed me Reservoir Dogs. And so for like an 11-year-old, that definitely like sort of like, you know, retrained how I was looking at like cinema.
I Love Video was a video rental store / local chain in Austin that was around from the mid-'80s to about 2020, 2021. And it survived so many challenges in terms of the changing Austin, it becoming more expensive, the culture slightly changing, but what killed it was streaming services and the pandemic. The community was devastated. And we didn't know what to do, we didn't know where the collection was, and then a group of people got together and said, hey, listen, we want to take this collection and honor it by making sure that it's accessible to the community.
It was hard to make it justified for the price, that the value of the product to like buy it outright and then be a profitable business where you're, you know, paying a staff and paying rent in a place like Austin.
We contacted the original owner, Conrad, who had the collection. We got it from him. We negotiated a deal with him to make sure that we had it. And that's how We Luv Video was born.
Having a nonprofit organization run by volunteers naturally breeds and attracts people with passion. Whenever you connect with someone here, you kind of have an immediate connection and trust with that person because you know that they're not here for any ulterior motive, you know? Everyone's here for the love of the store.
I was very excited for the first day that they opened. I'm pretty sure I was here that day. I got really fed up with streaming and how on-demand things are. And I decided like, all right, whenever I want to watch something, I just want to be really intentional about it.
Coming in here and finding a movie is so much more enjoyable than finding something on streaming, and there's actually a lot more options here. Like last year I wanted to watch everything Scorsese and Cronenberg had made, and a lot of their stuff is not on streaming, but you know, they have a whole wall here of just directors.
You got the Criterion people who love their little Criterion collection, like movies, and they like really know their stuff. I feel like I fall in the camp of like just really knowing what I like, which is horror.
People that work here, it's the community. It's students, it's recent graduates, it's people my age, I'm in my late 30s. It's people who want to support, it's whoever wants to come in here and support the cause of maintaining this unique collection of over 130,000 VHS, DVD, Blu-ray, and Laserdisc units. That's who it is. So anybody can become a staff member, anybody can become a volunteer.
I basically say it's like a public library system where you get to check out the films for free. We just ask people to have different tiered donation, monthly donation amounts starting at $10 on up.
So the best thing about being at the store is browsing. Like that's what makes the video store experience distinctive. But when you're working at the desk, you have this like kind of other experience where people are renting movies that you wouldn't ordinarily rent.
Everyone that works here, it's always fun to talk with them about what they're watching and get recommendations from them as well, and you know, start following some of them on Letterboxd so we can kind of exchange more ideas about what to watch.
Okay, so Ricky O, the story of Ricky O was one that everybody wanted to rent. My Life as a Cyborg was another one that was like constantly being rented.
But that, and I feel like Phantom of the Paradise have like topped the monthly rentals list.
Never sing my music again. Anyone else that tries dies.
That is one of my favorite things here is being able to just go to the recommended section or, you know, see which DVDs are kind of highlighted on a shelf and picking one that I maybe haven't heard of, but knowing someone here recommends it.
I mean, I can't even count how many times I've watched people come in for the first time and kind of have that sense of awe and wonder, and you know, it really never gets old. Everything from like people my age or older who kind of grew up with video stores, it's that like, oh my God, I thought I would never see this again or feel this again. We have a huge customer base that are like college age students, a lot of like film students. They come in and do a lot of screenings and events as well.
Where we've been doing local film Fridays, where we showcase any film by a local filmmaker.
You have your unique sections. You have Western, you have drama, you have comedy. We have subgenres in terms of we have Korean horror, Japanese horror, Chinese horror. We have a lot of queer cinema, which we really appreciate. So we're trying to subdivide as much as possible while still maintaining the organizational structure that we have.
I kind of come in here and I just pick whatever happens to catch my eye. I feel like that's how a lot of people work. But that's like going back to like the physical case itself and the artwork, the typography, and you know, what catches your eye.
I think there's a huge amount of people who probably want to get away from like the, you know, doom scrolling of that it feels like when you're going through a Netflix or an Amazon, but also it's just the amount of stuff you can never find anywhere online that exists in physical media is, you know, that's always going to draw people here.
Whenever somebody comes in, more often than not, I hear them say, I didn't think I could find this again. I thought that this was lost forever. For me, that is beautiful. For me, that is a connection to the community. For me, that is what we're here for. We're here to provide the obscure, the most mainstream, whatever it is, because that's what cinema is. That's what community is. It's about providing whatever people want, and we're happy that every single day the collection is growing.
It's become a part of my my habits. Like I come here every day, which is like funny to say, but like whenever I realized that I was doing that, it was like, huh, I really do show up here every single day.
You know, it does feel like a community. It feels like, you know, it's a very inviting and safe space to come in and just share our love for film.
I feel like people just come in and they don't even talk about movies at a time. They just want to chat. And that's always really nice, I think.
One of these days, the internet is going to collapse. We're going to decide that it's gone too far. And when that happens, we're going to need physical media.
Film is sort of the culmination of like all of our original art forms. You know, you think about like storytelling from like standing around the campfire, telling a story, people writing books, people creating music. Every single one of those things is incorporated in film. It's kind of the culmination of them all.
But I think there's some desire to go back to our roots, to go back to a simpler time in a lot of respects, a time where you can experience something in a very intimate way, that it's not mass-produced, it's not streaming, it's not TikTok, it's not Instagram, whatever, it's something physical. I think human beings crave physical. I think we crave something that we can hold, something we can experience over and over again. I think that there's something very, very profound about that for human beings in general.
When I work the closing shifts, I swear, like every time I work that, there's always like someone, every other person comes in knowing Matthew McConaughey, and they always have some story to tell about Matthew McConaughey. I love the stories that everyone always shares with me. It's always him specifically, never anyone else. It's always Matthew McConaughey.